Hey guys, you ready for a meta narrative this week?
Yeah, where are we at this week?
This week we find ourselves in the desert lands of Nevada. We're camping out on this little hillside over here with our little campsite. And in the distance, you might notice some strange structures and buildings with some lights and some gates set up. We don't want to get too close.
Las Vegas?
It's not Vegas.
Oh.
It's Area 51.
Nice. I've always wanted to come
And
here.
we don't want to
Thank
get
you.
too close because there's camo dudes that will gas us and then relocate us somewhere else. So we gotta be kind of quiet. But we definitely, I think we're in a good spot for maybe a campfire tale.
Ooh.
Nice. I'm ready. Make it. I'm sorry, we should be whispering. This is an ASMR episode.
I think
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Spot the whole episode. It's gonna sound like this.
I'm already hating it. Well, yeah, you brought us out here. What do you want to tell us about Area 51?
So the tale I've been meaning to talk to you about, and I think we may have talked off mic about this, like sort of, but I wanted to get in some detail with you guys and talk about the mysterious Area 51 caller from Art Bell's Coast to Coast show. And now this particular caller called on September 11th in 1997. And I want to talk about that particular story because there's some mythology going on with it. Some bands have used it in their music. And yeah, I just wanted to dissect it, get into it, and see how you perceive this story.
All right, I'm in. This sounds like a really spooky 9/11.
This is our 9/11.
Yeah.
All right, should we jump right in?
With your Cryptid corner and the stone spin off. It's called Campfire Tales. It's different, but it's the same. Don't freak out.
All right, fellas, here we go. This is the setup. On September 11th, 1997, we have a frantic, panicked caller who is calling into Art Bell's Coast to Coast show. He's claiming to be a former Area 51 employee. So he contacted Art Bell's open line, his radio show, and he's ranting about extraterrestrial beings, talking about beings being interdimensional. And he's very worried about Area 51 folks or somebody triangulating on his position. And that's sort of the setup. So you guys know Coast to Coast, right?
Yes.
It's like a late night talk radio. I always remembered it like if we were in the car after like 1 a.m.
Yes.
Coast to Coast was like pretty much the only thing you could listen to that like would keep you from falling asleep.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So Art Bell had this late night radio talk show. It was pretty popular. I think it was from like the late 80s until 2003. It's still being broadcast. George Norrie, I think, is the host now. But
yeah, they have a couple hosts, I think, now.
Oh, they do? Okay. Yeah. So it was like a variety of topics, like often conspiracy theories or paranormal stuff. But yeah, Dan, it was totally like late night. I think he had like millions of listeners, but it was like sort of this
I'm not surprised.
Anything goes style, UFOs, ghosts, time travel. But he had an open line where folks can call in and he would take these calls.
He was kind of, and he was a little he was like if you were to mix Alex Jones and Bob Ross, you would end up with this host. He was like a little gentler, a little bit more soft-spoken. He was a little passive. Like people would like claim outlandish, crazy stuff, and he would just be like, "Oh, that's really interesting." Like I don't really ever remember hearing him push back on much. He made like I guess what I'm trying to say is he made like a very welcoming environment. People were eager to call in and just chat with him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if I would. I think you're saying Alex Jones because of the like extraordinary topics that are covered.
Well, like conspiracy theories and like out of mainstream topics, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, but not. Yeah, I agree. I can agree with it.
Yeah, just not political but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dig into this particular call. So the caller's sounding frantic. He claimed he was fired for a medical reason, and the government was working with hostile interdimensional extraterrestrial entities. So during his rant, which we can get into, maybe we can even cut some of it in here, the call was abruptly cut. And I think this is what is interesting. Art claims that the satellite feed for the radio station went down. So this is pretty like a rare, unprecedented event for the show. Apparently it affected other radio stations as well. But it's the timing of it. So he starts with like, they're going to triangulate on my position soon. He's frantic. He's getting more and more worked up. And then the feed cuts for like 20 minutes, right in the middle of sort of his insane rant.
And if I'm listening to the radio, what do I hear? Like it cuts and it's just dead air for 20 minutes?
Yes, it's just static or off. I guess it's nothing, right?
The station switched over to something else.
Oh, it did. Okay.
When their feed went down, yeah, it changed to like I think it was another Coast to Coast episode because after you sent me the recording, I went down a rabbit hole and I listened to about an hour and a half of Area 51 employees calling in to Art Bell, and and somebody said like, oh yeah, when it cut, it just like all I heard was like your interview with somebody else.
Okay.
Like, I didn't really know what was going on. Yeah.
Got it. I assumed it was like static, but they probably had like a backup tape if, that just kicked in or something like that. Yeah. So part of his transcript, he says he's on a medical discharge. They're going to triangulate in his position soon. What we're thinking of as aliens, they're actually extra-dimensional beings. And that an earlier precursor of the space program, they had made contact with them. And they've infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly Area 51.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51.
And then he goes into saying like the disasters are coming. The military, the government knows about them. There's some safe areas in the world, but they could begin moving people to, but they're not. They want major population centers wiped out, and they want that to happen so that whoever's left is more controllable, and then the feed just goes out, right? Pretty wild stuff. But it's more like his delivery that it, that sells it. He's frantic and upset.
You hear fear in his voice. Like he seems legitimately scared and worried, and he's crying. I think when the show came back on, like when the satellite came back up, and they were continuing the episode, Art Bell kind of says to another listener, like before the call got cut off, like I don't know if you guys heard him crying and stuff. Like he talked to Art Bell for longer. It's just it wasn't on the radio. So yeah, it's really interesting because Art kind of infers like the way this guy was speaking and acting seemed real.
Right.
The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
But could like a guy going through like a psychotic episode come across that way? Is that a possibility here?
No, I think absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something I want to talk about. It's like, what do you think happens? But I did want to mention a couple other things real quick. So This is a complete aside, but Tool uses this audio on a song off of their Latterhouse album. The song, it translates to Voice of God, and it's cool. It's really cool. So you have the frantic audio, and it's over like distorted drums and noise. What a great album to begin with. It's got like a bunch of Bill Hicks stuff in it and some kick butt songs. But anyway, there's a song on there. It's called like Fiap de Ode. I don't know what language it's in. It's some like fake like alien language or something, or invented,
extra dimensional,
like invented language by some that this guy was given to from angels or something like that. But anyway, the song's really cool. But so what I want to talk about is the aftermath. So a man did call back. If you look on the internet, it's all over the place. It's like a few days, a few years. The best I can find is like 6 to 7 months later, which I think is probably pretty accurate. I did a lot of searching to find out relatively like what time this was. So he called back claiming to be the original caller, and he gave listeners a preview of that same voice. So like, hey, I can do it. I can act. I'll do this voice for you to prove that it was me. He said his name was Brian. And then, of course, like skeptics are thinking, oh, well, the second caller is just somebody trying to cover up like the first caller.
Right.
You know, so the question is like, was it a hoax? Is Brian like authentic? Or was this something that actually went down, you know?
So what can I do to prove my claim here?
Well, I guess you could give us a little of what you gave us then so that we could hear it and know it to be you.
Are you sure you want me to do that, Art?
I'm positive.
Don't, Art, please. I don't want you to ask me to do this. If I start doing that guy,
You're right about that. Now, let's just take that little sample that you just gave us so that we don't alter some sort of hard little reality here at the end of the program, and we'll let the callers be the judge.
Okay.
All right?
And then I do have one other piece of information I think I want to save about Brian that I came across from 2014. But before we get into that, I just want to hear what you guys think. I've been talking a lot, but I want to hear your perception of like, you think this was real? Were aspects of it potentially real? Was it somebody going through a psychotic break? Like, obviously, Art thought something, felt something at least. But just want to talk to you about like what you think.
So I find a lot of it incredibly interesting. That's pretty early on, I think, for me, or at least my concept of when these like interdimensional being theories started coming out. Because it was 97? What was it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. 9/11/97.
9/11/97. Yeah. So yeah, like that's interesting that he went. It wasn't just like, oh, they are having the crashed spaceship from Roswell in Area 51 and it's real. Blah blah blah. He specifically said interdimensional beings. Like, incredible. Love that. My affinity for interdimensional beings. Then there was the radio station getting cut out. Like, if you listen to more and more of the people that called in afterwards, a lot of people saying they work for Area 51. The one guy was like, oh yeah, it was an EMP that shut you down. Just like nonchalantly. Two other callers pretty much were like, what happened to him. You don't ask questions. What happened to him and why the call got cut off. That he was murdered.
Wow.
There was a couple people that called in talking about how they were cleaners for Area 51 and they dug a lot of holes in the desert and pretty much said that's where this guy was going to end up.
Why do people that work for Area 51 call a radio show?
Just really nonchalantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you something. I mean, also, his show was broadcast from Nevada, right? So, like, he was...
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just as an aside. But
well, I'm sure, like, if you're working the graveyard shift in 97, like, the best thing you've got is, like, a tape deck in your pocket. You listen to the same tape over and over again. or you have a little pocket radio and you can listen to whatever's on the radio, which in my mind is a little bit more interesting. I remember those days pretty clearly. So you probably have like a little parasocial thing going with Art Bell. And I could see, like, I'm trying to read on all ends of the spectrum. I could see if I'm having like a bit of a psychotic break and I think somebody's after me, and maybe I don't have a lot of friends in real life that are willing to put up with me, like at this state. I could see turning to Art Bell, like my pseudo friend, my parasocial friend, being like, you need to help me. Because, you know, you feel like you know this guy. Also, that the only way I could see somebody that's like of like sane and sound mind calling in live is if they know what they're saying isn't true, but they're doing it for some reason. And I'm trying to figure out what that reason is. If it's like, are they being paid by the government? This is conspiratorial. Are they being paid by the government to like plant seeds on the national airwaves? This is like a syndicated show. This is broadcast all around the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, are they trying to plant ideas in our heads to like make us think that the government's more powerful than it actually is? Or are they trying to like get us acclimated to the concept of interdimensional creatures because of some, I guess, 30 plus year delayed, disclosure that has yet to happen? Are you actually not an employee of Area 51 and just having fun? I've done some radio prank calls before. I've been on the radio a couple of times.
Oh, that was you, Dan, the Baba Booey guy?
Yeah, that was me.
I think that, like, this could absolutely be like a government psyop calling in to just like muddy the waters of the UFO alien discussion. Like that's a known thing to happen. The Majestic 12 did it all the time. It's hard, obviously, to say one way or the other.
Unless you really can't. You really can't say anything. Yeah. It is interesting on its face. I think it's worth talking about. But I think anybody that comes away with it solidly, this is like a little mistaken. Because like epistemologically, you really can't say one way or the other, just based on these recordings, right? It's just interesting.
Yeah. No, it's just an interesting story. Yeah, I think the aspects of like the fear and terror in his voice, and then the satellite feed cutting when he clearly started that they were going to triangulate on him is interesting to me. Like those two coincidence, like that's quite the coincidence,
Yeah,
which probably is a coincidence. But let me tell you a little bit about Brian because I think it might add a little flavor to this.
Just real quick, actually, because like when the show comes back on, Art says like this has never happened, and we have like backup systems in place so that this doesn't happen, and it still did. That this was like this wasn't a small little ham radio show.
No, yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, it was a big thing.
The fact that it was able to be knocked off the air somehow, and it had never happened before, and I probably didn't happen again, is a weird coincidence.
Right.
But yeah, tell me more about Brian. I love. Yeah,
I'm salivating. I want to hear more about Brian.
And just to double down on that, Greg, because like when I initially was looking into it, I was like, oh, did Art just like unplug his feed? Like he was like, this is too good, doink. But other radio stations were affected by the satellite glitch or whatever the hell happened. So, yeah. So here we go. So in 2014, I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the other radio program or podcast, but this guy Brian comes on this show. I have to get the name of the show, but he's a comic book writer. His name's Brian Glass, and he claimed that he was the caller from Art Bell. And I think what's interesting about this guy Brian Glass is his voice sounds similar to the guy, but also he was writing a comic book with one of his co-writer partners that were about interdimensional aliens and like the stuff he was saying. And he was like, oh yeah, I was just saying the plot of our comic book.
Oh, nice.
To Art. And you can like go and find this comic book, like it's on like Amazon. And it was published, pretty early days. So he was like, yeah, I just called him. And he was like, in fact, I had like a bottle and I was going to hit myself like over the head or drop a bottle like I got knocked out. But I didn't get a chance to do it because the feed went out. The one thing he does say is that scares him a little bit is the satellite feed cut out. which was obviously not planned and was just something that just happened. So I don't know if this guy Brian is authentic or not. You can search up his name, Brian Glass, and find the interview with him. He sounds pretty authentic. He has a lot of details. So even if it was this guy, right? Say it was him all along. What I find interesting is this coincidence of the satellite feed going out.
Yeah.
So like, say somebody, and this is a conspiracy, right? I'm just
lay it on me. I'm so ready.
I'm just layering on to the insanity. But so say it's a prank, it's a hoax. This guy Brian, is a good actor, and he's paraphrasing from his comic book. But somebody of some influence and power is listening, and just like a lot of radio listeners, thinks it's real and cuts the satellite feed or shifts it or does something so he doesn't leak some information because there's a little bit of truth in his made-up story. That
he flew a little too close to the sun.
Yeah. Like that I kind of find
that's what I was going to say.
Interesting, and I'm not saying that's real, but it might explain like the coincidence type stuff. I don't know.
Well, so I just looked him up. Brian Glass lives in Philly, by the way.
Hey, local boy.
Oh.
So
all right, maybe we can get him on.
Or at least he's from Philly. Born and raised like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in Philadelphia. Brian, if you're listening, come on and talk to us about this.
I'll find his email. I'll send him an email. I'll see if we can get him on GCC.
Now, the one thing is on the Wikipedia for him, it says Glass has, along with many other individuals, claimed to be the person responsible for the Area 51 call. With so many people claiming it, and that's a really good way to like get your name out doing something,
especially if you're promoting a product.
Yeah,
sure, yeah. You're right.
So that actually adds a little less credibility to it, but also. Yeah, absolutely. If his comic at the time was a similar concept to what he was saying, and he's just like kind of spitting it out and trying to, guerrilla marketing his work or whatever, good for him. You did a great job.
We're talking about you now in 2026, all this time later.
But Eric, I completely agree with you with the idea of like, yeah, he got too close. He was saying things that were real, and they had to cut him off. So if he wasn't expecting that, then that adds another layer of strangeness to this already like high strangeness show.
Yeah. I think that's the interesting thing. Like the frantic voice pulled me in, but then, the sort of satellite feed dropping off, I think is an interesting aspect, I think I told this story on Stabby Stabby. I used to go fishing with my dad, like when I was younger, and we'd fish all night in New Jersey, like the bridges and the jetties, and wade out in the water and stuff. And we'd stop and get coffee and get a snack, and we'd listen to Art Bell because he was, broadcasting through the night. And sometimes we'd like roll up to a prime fishing spot, and we'd be so engrossed in Art Bell, we would just sit there in silence and like listen to the end of whatever the topic was before we got out to go fishing. I have really fond memories of that. I wasn't a big listener like otherwise, but it was like our nighttime thing because we'd be traveling from spot to spot in the car, and we'd catch his program. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the takeaway from today's Campfire Tale. Maybe is you should just get your son and go listen to old recordings of Art Bell because it's pretty good. It's pretty good, man. It is good.
Yeah, grab a young bald boy and just make him listen to old radio.
Yeah.
That's all I had. I mean, there's a couple other Art Bell episodes maybe in the future we could touch on. There's a Mel's Hole series of
everyone loves a good Mel's Hole. What a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe in the future we can touch on a couple other Art Bells. I don't want to over Art Bell it, but this one I really wanted to talk to you with you guys about because I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
all of this is coming back into the news. So aliens are on everybody's tongue right now.
They're so hot right now.
Aliens are so hot right now.
I think tonight when I'm going to sleep, I'm going to pull up this whole conversation. I've never listened to it front to back. I'm actually excited to listen back to this conversation for when you drop the audio clips in because I want to hear them. I wanted to go in blind. I've never heard the story. It's pretty cool.
Dude, listen to that. Like, I think it's an hour and 6 minutes of like additional callers. It's fascinating.
Sounds scary. This sounds like it's going to freak me out. I'm here for it.
There's a story where this young guy, he sounded like a stoner. He was saying he was hanging out with friends at like a kegger by Area 51, and he got drunk and stumbled in. And they like arrested him, like bagged his head, and then like dropped him off like 2 towns over to the cops, and were like, if you ever say anything about this, you'll end up in a hole in the desert, basically.
Nice.
Wow.
Do you guys want to try that? It sounds like that means the moral of that story is you get one pass.
Yeah, you get one pass. But Art Bell did advise heavily against drinking by Area 51.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun story. He seemed to enjoy that conversation, even though this guy who's just like, you're an idiot. But I do highly recommend that hour plus video. I don't watch a lot of like long stuff like that, but I was enraptured by it. I freaking loved it. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Nice.
Oh,
Larry,
we are
thank
in Area
you.
51. I forgot.
Yeah, well, we're not drinking though tonight. So
Yeah.
Right,
I forgot about the meta narrative.
I forgot how that meta narrative works.
Yeah.
Eric, thanks for bringing this story and running your first Campfire Tales episode. You're a big boy now.
I am.
Yeah.
You're a big
all
cryptid
grown
boy
up.
now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw another log on the fire. We can look at the stars and see if we see any UFOs.
Yeah, if
We'll
you
hang
see
out a little
something,
longer.
if you see something doing a right angle, yell out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you know. Nature doesn't do right angles.
Except for crystals. Crystalline formations are often.
Well, crystals are from
6
aliens, though.
Oh, damn it! You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep. You often forget that all the cool stuff is alien, like platypus and crystals and chocolate.